So today, this morning, I had some very nice reflections. So I thought, let me start with that rather than the 18th chapter. I don't know, somehow that mood of going to 18th chapter is not happening in me. You have to excuse me for that. Okay, so what's the reflection I'm getting is that, let's take this example that we are looking at how to progress in career, how to progress in life, and the output of that is that we have something called as bank balance, and we are checking the bank balance, whether salary has come, or this much money I have, or whatever it is, or is it sufficient for my family or for my children and wife or husband or whatever it is. So whatever obligations we are having in this world, am I really having all of that? Do we have anything like that for our life? Meaning, how much is the balance remaining of our life? How much punya we have accumulated in this life, and how much of apunya or papa we have accumulated in our life? Do we have something like that, like the bank balance, where we can check and see that which destination I would be going if the karma were to end this body, and what would happen to me? So this thought created me, or this reflection, or this thought reflection started to penetrate with all the three of you and with myself. Let's take one by one. So if I were to compare with Padma Shri, Padma Shri's family is all set, meaning she has homes, she has son, she already has a daughter-in-law, and her husband is retired, and she is everything, basically. So when I compare from the monetary angle, she has good punya, so in this life, and she is done exceedingly well in career, let's say. And if I take it as a personality, she is a nice personality wherein she knows what she's talking, she knows intellectually, she's also very scientific, temper-minded, and she is into research, and she wanted to pursue her PhD and all that, which is good. So there is, when I compare myself to her, I don't think so I have all of that ability like what Padma Shri has. So now the question comes, should I develop that ability so that I can also become like her, or what I should be doing? So now on the materialistic foundation, we have the courses. So we have different courses for personality development, to understanding the business, to how to become a product owner, or how to become a developer, how to become this, how to become that. But that necessarily does not bring me to what Padma Shri is today. So there is something which she has got it, that is her intrinsic thing, what can be called as punya. So because of that punya phala, she is able to do what she is doing today. And if I compare with Bhatt, he has two daughters and both are settled. He has a home and he has properties, and he has property also in his hometown where I have visited. So nice, good families with brothers and all of that. And there is no deprivement of any kind. So now that also has come to him. If I want to become like Bhatt, number one, should I become like that? Number two, even if I were to, is it feasible, possible in this life? Again, I can go through some courses and whatever I can do like Bhatt is. And I don't think so that is feasible at this point in time, no matter what I try. Meaning I cannot get daughters now, I cannot send them to US, and they can't be working in Google or wherever they are working and all of that, right? So they are quite settled. And if I look at my son, he is not settled as yet. He is still studying. So I cannot really mimic either Padma Shri's life or Bhatt's life, because they lead their own life based upon their punya phala. So now they have they are better placed than what I am placed right now. And if I were to compare with Lata, the same answer would come when I look her from the career perspective. Okay, I don't have a job and she has a job, and Bhatt also has a job even now, and Padma Shri, anyway, she has a job. So all of them are doing well. They don't have anything to worry on the salary or on the status or on the title or designations or whatever it is, and they are doing quite well. But I don't have anything from the year 2013 onwards. Yes, I have taken this for whatever reason, but that's what karma is all about. So I don't have a regular income. I somehow don't want income, and all of these funny ideals I have. But when I compare with three of them, they have very good punya phala because they don't have to think like what I'm thinking. Okay, so it's good to see. So I can't become like Lata, neither I can become like Bhatt or Padma Shri. Now, the effort I need to take to become three of you, right? So it's not possible in this life. Now the question comes, is that, okay, they are doing all of this. They have bank balance, and they have everything, every comfort they can think is feasible, and they have it. So let's say somebody wants to go around the world. So all the three of them gone around the world, at least some countries. And if they had to live in some country, they have already done that to a certain extent. So there is nothing that is depriving in any given way. But do they really know how much of that is left? And how much of that is still going to continue? Number one, do they know on where is the next destination? Where are they going to get placed after this body breaks down? And we don't know when that body is going to break down. So let's say it's going to break down in next 30 years or next 40 years. But still, after 70, nobody can work. So that means 70 to 100. It's basically just spending time. So then, do they know how they are going to be and what's their destination? Similarly, do I know my destination? Do I know what is the amount of punya I am having right now, and what is the amount of punya which is not going to be there? Meaning, what I'm trying to find out for myself is that the sine wave, what is supposed to be, looks flat right now for all of us. It looks flat. The day begins the same, almost ends the same without much changes. So we are stable, and that stability is caused not because of me. That the stability has caused due to the punya, which is going up and coming down, but then again the punya is taking up and coming down. So there is no papa phala which has come into existence. And that's the reason it looks absolutely the same. There's no difference in the way I'm waking up in the morning and how things are. So the reflection what I am having right now is that, do I know how much is the punya phala, how much is the papa, and how much of my life remains? Or like, how much of the candle remains in this journey. And to talk about that, I had one of my friend calling me up after our class. After 1 hour after our class, he called up asking me how I am and all that. And then we had one friend, or rather his colleague, but I used to go and meet all of them while he was working in his earlier organization. So I had one acquaintance with a person who was an ERP professional, and he used to implement ERP products, or one of the product. Then he joined Oracle and he was doing pretty well. and he has traveled across the globe, and he has properties and all of that. And then he was so bent upon career that he used to start his work by rather early morning and end late night, and he used to only work abroad, meaning to say that as soon as some implementation comes, and most of the time he has spent abroad than in India. So yesterday he called me up saying that, you know what has happened, I'm really scared and all that. He passed away due to COVID. Age is 50. He has one daughter, and he has a huge villa in Whitefield. And his wife also had COVID, and now she is recovered, but he succumbed to multiple organ failure. So he was worried. My friend was worried, you know, how this thing happened and all of that. So considering that, if I were to reflect, now at least I don't know how much of the fuel remains in the car, and which destination is going to take once that driver is ejected out and the car is thrown away, and how much it's going to take wherever it should take. So I was thinking in the morning that the path what I've taken to find out where the destination is, meaning where it is going to land, is clear. And now the question comes, how am I clear? The reason I think I'm very clear is that I'm able to see what I'm doing in a day, how much of the time I'm spending on the worldly things and how much of the time I'm spending on inward, that is exploring on myself and looking at what's the thoughts which are coming. Are they sensual thoughts? Are they thoughts of hatredness? Or are they coming up with greed? Are they coming up with some intention to harm somebody or myself? Like, if I really keep observing them, then I know how much of the punya I'm having, because if the thoughts are not coming of that, and my heart is filled up with a kind of satisfaction and happiness, wherein it just fills, so there's nothing more to fill to what has been filled up. So it shows that the destination where I would go, even still I am not liberated, that it's going to land, meaning the consciousness is going to land at a place which is better than what I am doing today. So if I compare the voice what I have, or the skin color, the body structure, the internal organs what I presently have, and then the opportunities what I'm getting from outside the world to do something or the other, so they're all coming out of punya phala. But then it is better to check, like the bank balance. Do I have enough balance left, or should I add anything to the balance? So I'm feeling that this kind of reflection, if done by all the four of us, will help us to know at the earliest, considering all the things which are happening today in terms of people passing away much faster than what they should be. Earlier, last year, people used to say that only old people are vulnerable. Now it seems like anybody is vulnerable. And we don't know how this virus is spreading and who is spreading and all of that. And suddenly the oxygen level goes down and all that. So one of my friend's wife, she's also a doctor, and her mother is now in the hospital. So she used to contact me, that is the mother as well as their family used to contact me for meditation, and how she had a lot of ailments, and then she wanted me to help her with meditation. So I was helping her with energies to a little bit earlier. 4 days before she landed in hospital, she had called me up. She's around 78 years, saying that what is happening to her, and she seemed positive of her talks, but she was also COVID positive, and that she got it after she took the second dosage of vaccination. So then yesterday her oxygen level dipped very badly, and this friend's wife, and she said that anything that can be done. I mean, she's herself a doctor, and she's got the bed and the not the ventilator, oxygen and all that, but her mother was not doing well. So the question is that to shift to another hospital and all that. So then I told her that it was around 7:15 when she told me that her oxygen level is low. And then I said, let me do some meditation and see whether some positive energy can be put into her. And I was able to visualize both her father and mother. And the mother was not in a position to accept the energy, while the father was able to accept the energy. So then after some time, I felt that she should be fine. And she messaged me back that now her SpO2 level has gone to 85. So she seems to be out of danger presently. I have not heard anything from her in the morning. So I presume that, or I wish that she should be fine by another 2-3 days. I think she should recover completely, except for the lung infection, which will take some more time. But other than that, life-threatening, I don't think so she's there. So now the thing is that, can this be done? Can this kind of thing be done rather than the usual life? I think, in my opinion, for myself, this seems to be a better choice what I've made rather than the worldly choice, because as I'm seeing, people who don't have money have a problem. People who have money also have a problem. People who are settled also has a problem. People who have not settled also have a problem. So that means the problem persists, and even though we have enough or we don't have anything, the fear is going to be there all the time. So my question to myself was, am I running behind this birth and death cycle, or am I going against the birth and death cycle? Meaning, is my energy utilized in a day for birth and death cycle? Meaning birth and growth and career and studies and career and marriage and children and all of that. If it is true, then if I were to apply the law of attraction, then it attracts itself. That means to say that the next life is almost going to be the same. I cannot expect anything to be different than what I'm doing today. And if I want to do something different, that means just like Einstein said that you can't do the same experiment and expect different results. So my experiment should be different. So I should experiment on being happy, not being sad, because the samsaric process brings in sadness, because we are going to lose somebody or the other sooner or later. Whereas if we have gone beyond that, meaning if we are going against the tide, which is slightly difficult, but then there's an advantage. The advantage here is that you would have crossed that river or ocean or whatever of samsara and come to the shore where there is nothing to be felt. We have already crossed it. While in the water it's difficult, but outside the water it is simpler. So am I really doing that? Was the question. So if I am doing it, I have to do it judiciously through moral values and all that, so that the samadhi is not broken, irrespective of whatever is happening outside. And also with this, I can certainly help people to whatever extent possible. and help them in their journey, whatever they have as a journey, and then they can find their own solace if they want to do it. Meaning to say, can they also know how much of the bank balance they have, both in life, that is the time they are going to be here in their body, and how much of the time they will be there without the body, and where they are going to land, whether they are going to land in the same kind of existence or a different kind of existence, or a better existence or a deprived existence. And if they are able to see that, then there is a possibility of correcting it, just like we correct. So we look at the bank balance and we take action. Either we reduce our spending, or we go and find a job which will compensate to that spending. So either we cut the budget or we increase the budget, depending upon how much is there on hand. And the same thing, if we are able to learn through spirituality, that we can either increase the spend because we know that we have so much to spend, or decrease the spending because we know that we don't have that much, both in terms of the age or the life what we have, and the punya phala what we have. Because if the punya phala goes away, and then the karmic phala which is going to come, that is punya phala is also a karmic phala, and then the other karma will start to operate. So now if it starts operating, it's like I lose a job, and then I'm unemployed, and I don't have money, and then people are sick, and this happened, that happened. So then I have to take care of all of that without knowing what next to be done, because that's the phala, and that's the fruit what I'm supposed to suffer now. So what I'm doing is, basically now at present I'm having punya phala, I'm associating or closely attaching to the punya phala because it is so pleasurable. And when the painful feeling starts, or the painful the experiences start, and now I'm going to hate it, that means either I'm going to bring up with raga because it is pleasurable in the sukha what I've got, that the punya sukha, and dvesha is going to come up because I don't like what I'm seeing, and so then I take that. The objective is to really see both sukha and dukkha as the same, and not having raga and dvesha. So knowing the account balance will help me to balance out, meaning balance out in the sense that create equanimity in the mind, that, oh, this current state what I am in is due to punya phala, and that would go provided I don't add any punya phala, and I should know what punya phala I'm adding. And the same thing holds good for the papa. I have to do some things in such a way that that papa doesn't manifest, because both can manifest. The weed and the good plant both can manifest. So if it manifests, then there is a problem. If good manifests, there is no problem. If the bad manifests, then there is all the problem. So this is what I need to do, is what I was reflecting. And I will end it, and we can start on Bhagvadgita 18th chapter. But anything to discuss?
Yeah, so one question I have. So you said you need to reflect on how much of punya and papa you have.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So how do we find that out? Is based on whatever thoughts, impulses and urges which comes into your mind.
Yes.
Is it?
Yes, that is the only way.
Yeah, so that based on that, what kind of thoughts comes, then you know whether you have more of punya or more of papa. And if you are on, if you are alert and looking at it and observing it, if that not good impulses come, then it will drop away.
Yes. It will drop away, and it will drop away completely, meaning they don't have energy at all after that.
Yeah. So if you don't give energy to it by thinking about it and pondering over it and then going behind it, then it will drop off.
Yes.
So, and if you observe, the same things comes up again and again, because that is an innate vasanas, same
Yes.
impulses, urges. And so if you give in to that, then that will get more strength.
Yes.
So it is like you are, if some bad thoughts are coming or whatever, then you will have to forcibly put some good thoughts into it. That's the first step.
Yes.
And then maybe all good thoughts can come, then even that also has to be dropped. But then, okay, I'm not in that state, but
At least we should add only good thoughts so that the destination is not bad.
yeah. Okay, I got that clarity. Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I am struggling to do every day, but sometimes I forget to be on my guard, but in the daily things, but otherwise I've been trying to do this for the last few months actually.
Good. So if I were to compare all the three of you, you are having all the pleasures of life right now, and also pressure is there to hold it, is because that you have the punya phala of the past.
Yeah, that's true.
So there is nothing to be deprived about. Like, there are so many people today who are younger than you and they don't have a job because Corona has removed their income itself.
That's true.
And that is what we need to reflect, that there are people who were doing well, absolutely doing pretty well, before the Corona hit them badly. Their company where they were working or the business they were doing or whatever they were doing, it's gone. Like, since I started the tourism business, I can see people who are having hotels who have spent around 20-30 crores on the hotel. Today they are penniless because nobody goes.
Yeah.
Now what do they do with that 5-star hotel? They
can convert it into COVID care centers.
But in that place they don't have any COVID.
Okay, fine.
Now what is that poor fellow has to do, because there is no agriculture, okay, and there is nothing he can do now, I mean, except for growing some fruits. And now you see his lifestyle, he would have changed his lifestyle based upon the income what he's making, right?
Yeah, that is true. See, you think everything is stable, so you have some big hotel chains and all that, and then you say, okay, now your life is set, there's nothing can go wrong and all that. And then in a moment, everything will go upside down.
Yes. So why it doesn't happen with you and why it happens with him? That's a reflection.
Yeah, that's a reflection. That's because that based on your karma phala only.
Yes. And then we don't know how much of that remains. And how do we come to know? We come to know our thoughts. So if you are
giving... Yeah, that is... Okay, fine. By thoughts we know what is your punya and what is your papa. But then how do you know how much of life is left?
For that you need to have the meditation. So when we come to, like I was explaining yesterday, when you come to know that you are not going to do anything about the conditions and dependencies, or if you put yourself as Aham Brahmasmi and work backwards, then you will come to know when you are going to depart, when this is going to happen, and under what circumstances going to happen. Even if you don't get that, you will at least know where you are going to go.
Yeah, that anyway you can know by the thoughts.
Yes, that's the best thing. So at least if you don't know the complete statement of account, at least you know the balance. Because the thoughts are coming based upon what is being fed. So let us say, example, if I'm getting frustrated in life, even with having everything, I mean, say I have home, I have career, I have this, I have that, but yet I am frustrated for whatever reason. And I don't feel like, there is any justification done to me, or I should grow to this and that and all that, which clearly shows that I am aggressive in the first place, and then I'm very ambitious. Now, if these thoughts are there, it's very clear indication that I'm going to go down. That's the only place which satisfies this need of aggression. That means I need it. Simple. And the end result of that, let's say that aggression end result is competition. I aggressively want to perform. And I want to stand first in everything I do. And I believe in perfection in whatever I do. Now this perfection thing is not there up. The perfection theory is there down. So it literally takes down. How I know I'm going down? Because of the heat what I'm generating in the body and in the mind. So when I'm frustrated, agitated, or not angry, but it is like, when I feel aggressive or I feel frustrated, there is a kind of contraction which happens in the heart, and then I feel I should be in charge of everything. So I need to have control over everything. The moment the control feeling comes into existence, that means it is pulling, the energy is pulling towards down, not towards up. And another thing what I will also do is I will not forgive anyone. Whoever has done whatever mistake, I would like to pursue and show them that, look, this is a mistake what you have done, and then I feel very happy. So basically I'm developing asura qualities in my mind. So the next life, if not animal, I'll become an asura. Simple. So I'm feeding myself what I want to become every moment. And the body breaking is just one condition gone, that's all.
Yeah, so actually to summarize, whatever thoughts you are having, it should create an expansion in the heart and not the contraction.
Yes. And all the negative, including this COVID problem, what we have, contracts.
Yeah, that is very surprising. Just, I think 3 days back when I was meditating, somebody told me, look at what thoughts are making your heart contract.
Yes.
And okay, I have forgotten it actually. It came to me sometime, I think 2-3 days back. And now when you talked about it, I remembered again. That's good.
Yeah, it actually contracts, and when it contracts, it pulls the energy down. And when the energy is pulled down, you are going down, basically. You, as in the mind, is going down. So it's only a changeover of the body.
I understood. Yes.
So it's not that how much money we have or how much bank balance we have. We need to have a bank balance of what we have spiritually also. Meaning, are we going up? Are we staying wherever we are, or are we going down?
Yeah, all that bank balance, money and all depends on your karma phala. So even if you are meant to have enough money, you will have enough money till end of your life. If you are meant to not have money, you will not have it.
Yes.
So whatever you do. But we wrongly think that we are in control of how much of wealth we accumulate and so on.
Yes. So we go behind it not knowing that it is part of karma phala, and then when the time is up, meaning when the body is going to break down, which eventually it will, no matter what we do, then the destination is a problem.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Good.
Yeah, Padma Shri Bhatt, anything you have, or shall I continue on the 17th?
Yeah, I think every day you are bringing your experience like this, sharing. And now we are also started thinking the same kind of experience on daily basis. Yes, we have earned a lot of punyam. That's the reason today in this planet we are in a, I can say, we have a good lifestyle, and it's very blessed life. And the bandwidth what is available, we should utilize for spiritual growth, and there is no doubt in that. And what is missing is the part of that spiritual growth what is required. We like what you get in terms of visualization every day. Even I am also interested, something similar happening to me.
Yeah, the thing that is happening but I'm spending all my time on that. That's the only difference. I know I am in fire.
Yeah, I think intense effort is needed.
Yes, because having a bank balance out of our strength or whatever we are working, at least we can see that. So it's there in the bank, and then we know that this much cash we have, or this insurance I have, or that I have. Here, there is no cash, there is no insurance, there is nothing. We are absolutely in dark. So I am not leaving any stones unturned or I am not taking anything else seriously than this. That much I can tell you.
Yeah, that is the first priority for you.
Yeah, that's the only priority, to be honest.
Yeah, correct. So actually, yeah, you need to put an intense effort. Till the time you are with that always, then the effort is not needed.
Yes, it becomes second to nature.
Yeah, it is your own nature. So till that time, that effort is needed.
Like, you know, yeah, you are right, Lata. Yesterday when this friend called me up, we've been talking spiritual for some time, and he's my friend for 30 years. So I was telling him that when we were doing very well, meaning we didn't have this corona and all that, and whenever we used to meet in the bar, even though I don't drink, but I used to go to the bar, and then I used to tell him that, look, you have to spend time on meditation. And he said that, you don't know, we have families, and we are not like you and all that. So now I told him yesterday, now this is the time to do meditation. And then he says that, have you gone out of your mind? How can somebody sit and meditate when so many problems are happening with near and dear ones?
Yeah, but then when your problem happens, you cannot start.
Yes, so
Right.
so I was wanting to tell him, look, some years, 1 year ago, when we had a discussion, you said that it is time for having fun. It's not the time to do any meditation and all that. I don't know it'll ever work. Now when the problem is there, you cannot do it. When the problem was not there also, you can't do it. Meaning to say that we are meditating. Actually, the meditation is not closed eyes meditation. We are already meditating. We are meditating on life and death. That's all. What I should be doing from morning till evening, and what all should I be engaged upon. Either it is sensual, or it is other way around, wherein I am worried about something or the other, or I start enjoying the sensual pleasures of sight, sound, taste, touch, smell, and whatever that is. So basically, we are only doing that, is what I was wanting to tell him, but then I didn't tell him yesterday. So I told him,
Yeah, that's not the time to tell like that.
yep. And then he will feel that, look, this guy doesn't even have a heart, that his friend is expired and he doesn't feel anything. So I just left it as it is. I just said, okay, fine, no issues. It shouldn't have happened anyway. Then another friend called me up saying that, look, this happened, and we were struggling to find out from, we don't have the wife's number or daughter's number and all of that. And then he explained how they came to know and all that. I said, okay, good. Then I told him, don't keep on contemplating on the death. You be happy that you are safe, you are alive, and everything is working. That's what I told him. And his face, because we had one video call yesterday, so his face was so much of fear. His eyes were feared, and his body almost trembling, that how can this happen? Because for him, his colleague is no longer there, and then they had worked together in Japan. And this guy, out of 365 days, 200 plus days he has traveled abroad, leaving only 100 plus days in India. And from the time his daughter was born, now his daughter is 22-year-old or 23-year-old, basically. He has seen her, maybe all years taken together, added together, would hardly comes to 8 to 10 years max. And he's gone, leaving many properties in her name. That's all what it is. So the destination is unclear. And he was extremely aggressive, and he never used to drink, no smoking, no non-vegetarian, nothing like that. So in the world, we can say he led a very sattvic life, at least from food perspective. But he was extremely meticulous, extremely strict, extremely aggressive, competitive, and very good to talk with, lot of knowledge on ERP products, and good implementer, all of that, except for this. And he made so many properties in Bangalore as investment. So greed, hatred and delusion are the three dangerous things, that is raga, dvesha, moha. So no matter whether somebody eats vegetarian or eats non-vegetarian, that's not the question. The question is, what is that is there in our mind? The mind is filled with raga, dvesha and moha, it takes down. If you don't have that, it takes up. So the bank balance has to be seen.
Yeah, the real balance is there in your mind.
Yes, that is the balance. And if you are totally balanced, then is samatva. And that's what Krishna says in the second chapter. This balance is what is called as yoga. So if you have that balance, you will never come back. Now that you come here, you can't find out why did you come here, because you had raga, devesha, moha, but then future life can be saved because you know that it is the same thing what is going to happen. Okay, so we will go to the 17th verse of Bhagavad Gita. Yeah, Lata, you have something?
No,
Oh.
I'm just muting.
Okay. So he says that, who is that person? Who is the best? So, yasya na ahankritaha bhavaha buddhihi yasya na lipyate hatva api saha iman lokan na hanti na nibhadyate. So the person should be free from egoistic notion. Buddhihi yasya na lipyate, whose intelligence is not tamed. That means his intellect shouldn't make a distinction between he and others. Hatva api saha iman lokan, even though he slays these people such as the one, na hanti na nibhadyate, neither he slays nor he is bound. It's a very delicate shloka. It's like this: if I consider myself as one single consciousness, the chuti is in the mind. So what is the chuti is that we have this Achyuta, Ananta and Govinda, which is now floating around in YouTube, sorry, not in YouTube, WhatsApp, to come out of this corona virus and all that, which is true. And in fact, in the batch team, they had asked me, so I had given Joshi what is the real meaning of that. So maybe I'll share that with you. So if you say Achyuta, earth plus Chuti is Achyuta. Chuti means cutting. The consciousness which is uncut seems to be cut in the mind, meaning that's one single cloth is now cut in various parts and called as this person, that person, this animal, that animal, this bird and this insect and all that. So this is what the Chuti is all about. Achyuta is not having any cut. So first and foremost, we need to have Aditya created in the mind. Aditya is the sun. So you have to create something which is brighter than the sun. That means the consciousness is brighter than the brightest. So if I were to create that in the mind, meaning if I were to visualize that in the mind, then the center color which comes into that is a great orange. I don't know how to put that. It's a dark orange with yellowish tinge on the sides. And that you can see it in the sunrise, and you can see it in the sunset. You have to focus your attention on the center of the sunset or the sunrise, and you will immediately see that yellowish tinge on the sides, as though there are two suns. There are 12 suns you will be able to see. At least 2 you can see at the time of the sunset. So the 12 suns are one behind the other. So the Surya Namaskara has 12 suns. So Aditya, so sorry, the Aditya again, plus Ditya, that is non-darkness state, is something similar to the Achyuta, which is not having any darkness, no light. That means, sorry, always filled with light. So if it is filled with light, it's always Ananta. That means it is endless. The light is endless. So the consciousness is endless. And because it is endless, the senses don't see differentiation between you and others. So all five senses merge itself into one unity, and that is Govinda. So now if a person is there who knows that it is Achyuta, Ananta, Govinda, then neither he is getting killed nor is killing anyone. So there is no chuti. So yasya na hankritaha bhavaha buddhihi yasya na lipyate, meaning to say that his intellect is such that he knows that there is no chuti at all. He is just doing something as an action, just like taking a bath. So you know that you just taking bath, at least you're taking some effort. Let's imagine that you're going and urinating. It's absolutely as simple to that. You are not taking it as yours. You are not taking anything as yours in that. Meaning to say that when you're urinating, you're not even bothered about it. And you're not feeling happy that you're urinating, or you're feeling sad that you're urinating. You're just urinating. Similarly, this person, Arjuna, is now going to cut so many people. But nobody is dead. So he says, Hatva api saha iman lokan. The world is getting cut, and the world means that it is the mind. Mind has past, present, and future. In that Aditya, there is no past, present, and future. It's just light. So if I know Achyuta and I've experienced Achyuta, then there is no fear, because I am not going to die anyway. So the mind was the one which was going to die. Now it is stilled. Meaning, I can't say I existed yesterday. In fact, I can't say I existed 1 hour ago. And I can't say that I'm existing right now. And I can't say I will be existing in the future, because all the three are mental creation. There's no past. So just like as an example, we can say, yesterday I did that and we had this, and that's a memory. It's not really yesterday out there. So my wife and my mother-in-law had a very interesting conversation yesterday on their some past happening I was observing. So the mother is explaining something, saying that how the house was when my wife was young. And they are arguing, they are discussing, they are coming to some opinion, conclusion, whether this happened or this didn't happen, this happened before or this happened later, and all of that. And both are struggling to get it from their memory. Right now, that is not true. So the chuti has already happened. So now the chuti is basically, she and my mother-in-law moved away from the current life in the sense that what they were doing. They are in a home, and she no longer is that young girl, and my mother-in-law is not that mother who was there on that day. So the chuti happened, so it became anta. It is not ananta, it became anta. That means that present moment ended and it went to the past. Now let's say at that time they were to die. Now what happens? They get into confusion. That means the mind goes into tremendous confusion of the past. So whatever was that thought, which was filled with either raga or dvesha, moha, whatever they have, they become that. That means even though the mind was good conditioned yesterday, they both took out a topic which was at least 15-20 years ago, started dwelling in that, and once they dwell in that, their mind takes them to the body of that size and that event, and that will be painful. And yesterday I was seeing the pain that my wife is explaining something, and her mother is saying something and she's agreeing, she's disagreeing, my wife is agreeing, disagreeing. There's so much of energy generated. So they already did three things which they shouldn't have done. Achyuta should be done, they made it as Chuti. Then they should have looked it as Ananta, they made it as Anta. Then they should have done Govinda, they exactly did the other way around. That means they created their own senses. And Govinda is the owner of the senses. That means there is no differentiation between your sense and somebody's sense. So they separated the senses. So when the sense separation happens, then the Hanti happens. That is, the killing happens. Because now I see myself and the other person separate. So now I do that action which becomes karmic. Because I'm killing something without taking note that I cannot kill anyone or anything. So what makes this killing possible? The killing is possible due to ego. So Krishna says that yasya na ahankritaha bhavaha. And you underline the word bhava. Bhava is to become. So when the ahankara becomes, it becomes as a person. And once it becomes a person, it is going to generate raga dvesha moha. And once it generates raga dvesha moha, you become what you want to be. That is, the thoughts become yours. So that consciousness becomes an individual consciousness, which is called Baddha Atma. So now you are an Atma when you are not supposed to be any Atma at all. You are universal and you don't die. But now we are conditioned to believe that somebody is going to die and Corona is going to kill and this is going to happen, that is going to happen because of the Ahankara Bhava. And the present Buddhi, what we have is also the same. We attach so much to that body and all of that. We think that I am dying. But nobody is dying. And nobody was born in the first place to die. So if somebody were to utter Achyuta, Ananta, Govinda for, let us say, 108 times, he will never die because he was never born in the first place to die. Only if there is birth, then there is death. So when there is no birth, there is no death at all. So in this 18th chapter, what Krishna is explaining to Arjuna is that you were never born to die. So why are you worrying? You just do your action and leave it. So you are not killing anyone at all. I think I will end it here. It's just 2 more minutes left. Any questions?
Yeah, good.
So there are a lot of WhatsApp groups now on Achyuta, Ananta, Govinda.
Yeah, I have seen this before also. Many times I've seen Achyuta, Ananta, Govinda.
But they don't know the real meaning. So they keep on just uttering like a parrot. Achyuta, Ananta, Govinda, Achyuta, Ananta, Govinda. That's not going to do anything.
After every puja we do, na? Achyuta, Ananta, Govinda, Achyuta,
Yes.
Ananta, Govinda.
Yes. After every Sandhya Vandanam, you do that.
So it is like when you see a tree and then in between the trees you see the sky, right?
Yes.
So it appears that it is cut into different shapes.
Correct.
But actually there is only one sky. And that's how we are seeing now. All that. There is only one consciousness, but we are seeing through our senses, so it appears cut.
Yes. So we are already in Chuti.
Yeah.
So now, just by uttering the mantra of Maha Mrityunjaya, nobody is going to become deathless.
Yeah, it is actually it is to remove the fear of death.
Yeah, and they have not understood that that mantra in a
right
deeper way, in the right way.
Yes.
So they keep on uttering in life. So utterance is not of any good at all. You just utter and that's it. There ends the matter.
Okay, Vilas, 9:30.
All right.
I have to join another meeting.
Okay.
Thank you so
All
much.
right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
ನಿನ್ನೆ ಮಾತಾಡಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ನಾನು ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡೆ ಐ ವೇಸ್ಟೆಡ್ ಸೋ ಮಚ್ ಆಫ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಅಂತ. ನೀವು